बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम। एम्बेसी रोड में खुश आमदीद नाज़रीन। आज के इस प्रोग्राम में हमारे मेहमान हैं पाकिस्तान में USAID के डायरेक्टर जनाब जेरी पी बिसोन, और वो हाल ही में पाकिस्तान आए और इस महकमे के सरबराह बने। USAID पाकिस्तान में 1950 की दहाई से मुतहर्रिक और फ़ाल है, और पाकिस्तान में इन्होंने मुख्तलिफ़ शोबों में बहुत काम किए हैं। मिसाल के तौर पर सेहत और तालीम के शोबे में, पानी के शोबे में और दूसरे शोबों में, और छोटे छोटे मंसूबे जो तरक्याती मंसूबे इन्होंने पाकिस्तान में मुकम्मल किए, उनकी एक मुकम्मल तारीख़ है। ये इदारा कई दहाइयों से पाकिस्तान में काम कर रहा है और मुतअद्दिद इसके सरबराह आए हैं। उन्होंने अपनी अपनी कंट्रीब्यूशन की है, अपना किरदार अदा किया है। नए डायरेक्टर साहब आए हैं, बहुत सीजन्ड और बड़े तजुर्बाकार डायरेक्टर हैं और एक डिप्लोमेट हैं मंजे हुए। उनसे हम पूछेंगे कि USAID के बारे में उनकी क्या विज़न है और वो पाकिस्तान में क्या करना चाहते हैं। Thank you very much for joining us in this program.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm delighted to be here.
Thank you. Could you just tell us, the viewers, our viewers, as to what is your take on Pakistan, because you are new and you have just joined. What's your view about Pakistan, the people, the society, the culture?
Yeah. Well, I was very surprised when I arrived in Islamabad. I had no idea Islamabad was so beautiful. It's so green and lush, trees, open spaces. The people who designed Islamabad deserve credit for the foresight in planning such a spacious and thoughtful capital city.
Just tell our viewers about the USAID. You know, the USAID is well known. People are familiar with this organization because it has been working in Pakistan for many decades. So what are you going to do? What is your agenda and what do you plan to do in Pakistan?
Well, let me begin by the USAID and Pakistan have been partners for 70 years. And that partnership is based on mutual interest of democracy, stability and security, and economic development. And USAID's development assistance is a key part of that partnership. We have built institutions such as the International Business Administration in Karachi, the Lahore University for Management Sciences, the Jeddah Postgraduate Medical Center. But most importantly, over time, our partnership has evolved. After partition, the US government was there to support Pakistan by providing commodities. We shipped wheat, we shipped edible oils, maize,
potatoes,
equipment, machinery, steel, iron ore, medicines. And then we invested in some infrastructure, like we helped build the Magala Dam, the Mangla Dam, the Tarbela Dam. We helped develop some thermal power plants. We built the first jet runway in Karachi. We expanded irrigation systems. There's a lot of development activities. That's evolving. Right now, since 2009, we have provided $5.2 billion of development assistance that is grant funding. These are grant money. It's a gift from the United States, American people, and it's not required to be paid back. And so it's an opportunity to evolve our partnership. Going forward, it's going to be much more of an intellectual partnership.
$5.2 billion that you have just mentioned, under Kerry-Lugar bill, or it was an independent funding?
Yes, since the Kerry-Lugar bill, 2009.
It's Kerry-Lugar bill, okay. The USAID particularly has designed its program in health, education and water section. Are you interested, or have you done some road building as well, investing in infrastructure in Pakistan?
Yes. Our infrastructure program is quite broad. For example, we've built 1,200 kilometers of road. We've expanded irrigation to 500,000 acres of land. And in terms of the energy sector, we've brought onto the grid about 2,800 megawatts of electricity. That's through both generation and improving the capacity of the transmission lines. Now, 2,800 megawatts of electricity will benefit 33 million Pakistanis. And in terms of the infrastructure sector, we also look at sustainability. And one key aspect in the energy sector is collecting revenues. And so, for example, we help some electricity utilities install modern meters and procedures, and over the past 4 years, these utilities have been able to increase their revenue collection by $429 million.
That's great. But in energy sector, Pakistan is also making efforts with the help of other countries and on its own as well. How would you rate or how would you evaluate the contribution of US aid in terms of overcoming the energy crisis or energy challenge in Pakistan?
Well, I think USAID has made a contribution, as I mentioned, by increasing the generation capacity and helping the government of Pakistan with the revenue collection. So really focusing on sustainability is a very important aspect.
Revenue collection, have you been able to revamp the system of collecting revenue that was already in vogue in Pakistan, or you have introduced something brand new?
It's working with the government of Pakistan with their existing systems. For example, they have organizations that set the tariff, and they have procedures for collecting the revenue. What we've been doing in partnership with the government of Pakistan is put in place more modern equipment and then procedures and techniques for actually collecting and accounting for the revenue.
So these smart meters, electric meters, that's your idea.
Well, I wouldn't say it's USAID's, it's international best practices. And one of the things that USAID brings is technical expertise with state-of-the-art knowledge. And so we'll look at what's working well in other countries around the world to see what could be applied here in Pakistan.
Right. So do you think that Pakistan will be able to overcome the current energy crisis? Because it's a huge challenge for the country. You know, we are suffering from load shedding and load management, and the dream is that we should be able to do away with this load shedding in the years to come. So are you optimistic that we will be able to do that?
Well, I'm optimistic that Pakistan has the technical expertise and they have the energy resources. I'm familiar with some of the maps of solar radiation for Pakistan, which is one of the greatest in the world, and wind potential. And Pakistan is already developing your wind energy and solar.
The wind energy and the solar energy.
Yes, we are.
You are partnering with Pakistan?
Yes, we are.
Right. So in the health sector, would you like to familiarize our viewers as to what is being done in the health sector? Because health problems are also on the rise in Pakistan.
The health sector is extremely important for Pakistan's future because our objective is to support the government of Pakistan in building their capacity to save the lives of mothers and babies. And we do that by building the institutions like the state-of-the-art medical centers, community clinics, and then training health workers. We've also developed the local production of medicines. And there's one medicine in particular, one dose only costs 50 rupiah, but it's been proven to dramatically increase the survival rate of babies.
Right.
We've also focused on nutrition. This is an area where Pakistan has potential to increase its nutrition. They have a high rate of stunting. And so we've been working with the government of Pakistan in one law that requires fortifying wheat to put in the iron and folic acid, vitamin B. And this can help infants and babies get off to the right start so they have the right nutrition so they can grow up with the right mental capacity and fully develop so they can have potential to contribute to Pakistan's economic development.
Right, but when it comes to nutrition, are you introducing some new variety of wheat so that it can provide nourishment to people, particularly in the rural areas?
Well, our focus in the agriculture sector has been on working with Pakistani scientists on developing high-yield varieties. So looking at higher-yielding varieties of wheat and then looking at more efficient water use and fertilizer use. And there's been some results already to show increases of 15 to 20%. The actual improved nutrition comes from fortifying the wheat flour.
But are you directly investing in, providing a food which is full of nourishment, full of energy, so that, some of our leaders claim that huge number of children who are between age 5 and 10 and 12, their growth is stunted because they are not being given good food, balanced food.
Right. Most of the need for that nutrition is in the years from 1 to 3. And there are programs supported by USAID as well as the government of Pakistan and other donors for having what they call fortified food bars. So there are programs out there. But the real challenge is looking at how do you put in place a system so you actually fortify your wheat and sell fortified wheat and edible oil throughout the country.
Right. In agriculture sector, what else is being done? I mean, besides fortified wheat, there are a variety of products in Pakistan, and Pakistan's land is very fertile. We are producing rice, we are producing vegetables and other crops. So are you helping Pakistan to increase the agriculture produce in Pakistan?
Yes, we work through a variety of approaches. Mostly at the provincial level, we were working with how does the provincial system increase the income of their people. For example, I was recently in Punjab, where I visited with the provincial animal husbandry people and learned about their program for promoting the raising of small ruminants, goat and sheep. And they've got a very large program for providing veterinary services, and I was able to meet with some of the women who are raising goats, and I was most impressed with how hardworking these women are, and they use the goats as a rural bank, and they use the money from the rural bank there when they need income for health care or education. So there's tremendous potential in Pakistan in the rural sector for agricultural development.
Right. But dairy farming is another very important
Yes.
sector, and Pakistan is well known for producing milk
Yes.
and other dairy products. But Pakistan needs modern techniques as well
Yes.
in this sector. So are you prepared to or thinking of providing any assistance in this sector?
Yes, we have a program in the dairy sector where we're actually providing more improved livestock and looking at how you can improve the production of milk from these livestock, and then looking at the value chain. So it's not just producing the milk, but what kind of products can be made from that milk and then be sold locally and then exported.
Right.
In the mango section, USAID has helped the mango growers put in place what they call automated graders. So this is important because if you just grade manually, you'll have different sized mangoes in one box. And if you can use an automated grader, you can get very uniform size of mangoes, and you can increase the value of that box. So instead of selling at $1.50 for a box with different size,
you
can
add
sell
the
it for,
value.
You can sell it for $3.
Right.
And so that's dramatically increased the ability of Pakistani mango exporters to reach the international markets.
Right, but there has been a problem for the Pakistani mango exporters to produce, to export their product to the US and Europe. So there were a lot of objections on
Yes.
the quality of the mangoes as well, and the way they are packed and the way they
Yes.
are exported.
Right.
So are you helping us out?
Absolutely, that's a key part of your export process, because you need to look at each country to see what the requirements. Some countries just require a hot wash. Other countries require something more sophisticated. And then the actual packing. We helped develop a system that allowed airflow. So the mango boxes are cardboard, but they're stacked up in a way that allows the air to flow. So when you put them in a refrigerated container, you can keep those mangoes fresh for several weeks.
Right. And in agriculture, the other products like rice.
Yes.
Rice is major export
Right.
from Pakistan.
Yes.
So are you helping us to introduce new varieties of rice or improved varieties of rice?
Well, we helped work with the Pakistani Research Center back in the Green Revolution. And this is where Pakistani scientists deserve a lot of credit. It was Pakistani scientists, research extension agents. They were developing high-yield varieties of rice and wheat, and that dramatically transformed Pakistan from a country that imported food to one that exported food.
Thank you. We'll continue this discussion. We'll take a short break and come back to continue this discussion. नाज़रीन एक मुख्तसर ब्रेक लेते हैं. ब्रेक से वापसी के बाद हम पाकिस्तान में USAID के डायरेक्टर से अपनी गुफ्तगू का ये सिलसिला जारी रखेंगे. वो हमें बता रहे हैं कि USAID पाकिस्तान में ज़राअत के शोबे में पानी और बिजली की बातचीत हो रही है पाकिस्तान में USAID के डायरेक्टर से. उन्होंने हमें बताया कि USAID पाकिस्तान में किन किन शोबों में किस तरह मदद फराहम कर रहा है. हम उनसे मज़ीद गुफ्तगू करेंगे कि उनका मुस्तकबिल का क्या मंसूबा और क्या प्लान है. When it comes to water management, this is a very important sector because experts believe that a huge quantity, a massive quantity of water is being wasted in Pakistan. So is USAID thinking, contemplating to help us in this sector?
Yeah. Pakistan is a water insecure country. The water they have needs to be used efficiently. USAID has a program called the Center for Advanced Studies, where we have twinnings between top US universities and top Pakistani universities. And we work in 4 sectors: agriculture, energy, and water. And I had the opportunity to visit the water facility in Sindh province, Mehran University. And I was very impressed with the students and researchers I met. They're well versed in the issues of water governance in Pakistan. They understand the importance, they're aware of the need to look at more efficient allocations and use, and they're twinning with expertise from the US, University of Utah, University of Colorado. So I came away very impressed with the potential for making progress in the important sector of water here in Pakistan.
But the wastage of water, I mean, the irrigation system, you must have seen and read about Pakistan's irrigation system, because we have inherited it from the British.
Right.
And it's a very efficient, but still the experts think that we are wasting water and we need to introduce modern ways to save and protect the wastage of water.
Agreed. I think it's important that you look at the government of Pakistan and private sector engagement in coming up with policies that both promote agricultural productivity and the efficient use of water.
So do you have any plan in this sector, water management, or your experts will come to educate, to train our people in agriculture sector?
Well, primarily through this program with the University of Utah and Colorado State, partnering with Pakistani institutions that are focusing on water research and water policy. But we also work on the rehabilitation of a number of dams and irrigation systems to look at how do we expand irrigation. And part of that effort includes the community engagement, the farmers who are using the water, putting together the Water Management Association so they use the water effectively.
All right. When it comes to education, another very important sector, in what way you are contributing? I mean, the USAID is contributing to increase the literacy rate in Pakistan.
Yes, education is the foundation of any developed society. USAID has built over 1,000 schools, but most importantly, we've trained over 25,500 teachers in improved techniques for how do you teach children, particularly in basic education. We've also provided scholarships for students in Pakistan to study both at the undergraduate and master's level, 18,000 scholarships here for Pakistani students at Pakistani institutions of higher learning.
Every year?
Total, over the past 6 years.
Okay.
And then we're funding 5,440 scholarships to the US, so Pakistani students can do their master's or PhDs in the US. And just that program alone is about $300 million for sending 5,440 students to the US. Another area that is important is looking at the Pakistani school-age children who are out of school. And Pakistan has a very large population of students who are school-age, but for various reasons they've left education system. So we are supporting partnerships with the private sector and the government of Pakistan to do vocational education. We want to link closely with the private sector, so when we do training, there's a good, strong potential for jobs after they complete the training.
Right. When it comes to training students and also sending those kids, students who are out of school, a lot of effort is being done. But are you satisfied that the number of those children who are out of school is increasing, or the situation is stagnant?
Well, clearly it's a significant issue. And so whether it's increasing or decreasing, the fact that it's such a large population that's out of school requires urgent attention by all sectors. And I was able to meet with private sector corporations in Karachi on a trip and learned about some of their work on corporate social responsibility, where they're really focusing on the out-of-school youth. You need partnerships, strong partnerships with the private sector so they can reach out and train the students who are youth who are out of school in the skills that they need.
But what about the government? I mean, is the government spending appropriate funds they have an appropriate design or they have a plan to put these kids into schools, because they are out of schools almost 2.3 million or more than that. The children, between age 6 and 10, they are out of schools.
Well, we work closely with the government of Pakistan on their education portfolio, which includes both basic education, higher education, and then vocational training.
So, training teachers, you are sending teachers abroad also, you are sending teachers to US for training, but is there any arrangement inside Pakistan for training these teachers?
Actually, most of our training of teachers, in order to helping them improve their skills for teaching, is done here. And again, there's 25,500 teachers have been trained. And much of that training is how do you train more effectively on the basic educational skills, grades 1 to 3, literacy and numeracy. That early foundation is so important for the students.
Right. But are you monitoring this situation? I mean, you are spending a lot of energy, a lot of funds are being spent on this training of teachers and increasing the literacy rate in Pakistan, sending children to school, huge effort. But are you monitoring that the results are satisfactory?
We're monitoring our programs, and we use a variety of ways to monitor. We use the implementing partners that we work through. We use the government of Pakistan ministries who are involved in this, both the provincial level and the federal level. We use what we call independent third-party monitoring. So we have several ways that we use to monitor impacts of our programs. And for education sector, you're going to be looking at the people trained, you're going to be looking at skill levels, at what grade level are they able to read.
But Pakistan, as a state, they have spent and they have invested a lot of funds in building education, I mean, in infrastructure, schools, colleges, universities. Do you think that they're also significantly contributing in the education sector or reducing the illiteracy in Pakistan, improving the educational standards?
Yeah, well, I think the government of Pakistan has a very comprehensive approach, because you've got a strong focus on basic education, you've also got a strong focus on your higher education, and I'm most impressed with the people-to-people exchanges that I've been witnessing, where you've got Pakistani educators working with US educators, and together they're working on more improved and appropriate curriculum.
Right. This Fulbright scholarship program is a part of US aid program, or it's independent of it?
The allocation from Congress is to USAID, and it's carried out by another part of the US Embassy here, our public affairs section. They manage that program.
Right.
But we also have scholarship programs as well. So we're very committed to the programs for higher education. That's a strong potential for economic development in Pakistan, and also it strengthens the ties between the two countries.
Higher education, we have Higher Education Commission in Pakistan, who are sending the students from Pakistan for PhDs and master's degrees. So are some students going to US as well? They are being sent by higher education to US, and US is offering scholarships as well?
Correct. As I mentioned, we are funding 5,440 scholarships to the US, and that is both for master's degrees and PhDs. And the total value of that is close to $300 million grant funding.
Right. Then the other sector is health, which is very important. And in the health sector, would you like to tell our viewers what the US is doing?
Well, as I mentioned earlier, our focus is on helping the government of Pakistan improve their ability, strengthen their capacity to save the lives of mothers and children.
That's one.
So we're very focused on the maternal and child mortality rates. And so there we've got investments in the infrastructure, so you're doing both research, you're doing training, and you're doing education. And by building facilities both at the provincial level as well as in community health centers, we're training health workers to deliver improved practices for mothers and babies.
But the government is also efforting in this sector, and probably thousands of lady health visitors.
Yes, lady health workers.
Workers.
Yes.
They have been trained by the government and maybe by the US
Yes,
as well.
we've been training them.
But do you think they are substantially contributing towards improving the mother and child care, health care? Or?
Oh, no question, absolutely. Well, at the community level, it's oftentimes these lady health workers are the ones who are able to go out and meet with the women in their homes, understand what their medical needs are, and ensure that they're getting both the proper advice, and if they need medicine and more professional care, they can access it. So I look at the lady health care workers as a frontline, very innovative approach that could be used by other countries around the world.
Right. But the impact of all this, I mean, the funds which are being invested, the efforts that are being made, the impact is that the health is improving, mother-child health is improving in Pakistan?
Well, obviously we're making progress. There are improvements. It's a big challenge, and it's one that requires continued commitment and dedication. And I have tremendous respect for the Pakistani professionals who are working in the health sector.
So you have some new innovative ideas about improving the health sector in Pakistan. I mean, you have some more ideas in your mind as to how to go about it.
Well, as I mentioned earlier, one of the leading causes of mortality for babies is infections. And so there is this medicine that only costs 50 rupees for one dose, and it has been shown to dramatically reduce the mortality rate for babies. And that medicine is now being produced locally here in Pakistan. So those kinds of approaches that are proven, where you do your scientific testing to see is it effective, does it reduce mortality or increase survival rates, and then how do you come up with ways to produce the medicine or treatment here in Pakistan at lower cost than if you import it from the developed world.
Some countries have built hospitals in Pakistan, like Japan and many other countries. Are you planning, the US aid is planning to build hospitals as well in rural areas, in far-flung areas where the medical facilities are not available to a huge section of population?
Yeah, we have focused on building the state-of-the-art medical center, the GINA, Postgraduate Medical Center. That's been our flagship medical center. And that is focused on state-of-the-art research, training, and medical services. We focus more in the rural areas on the community health units and how do you extend and support the government system on providing health care.
So you are focusing on all 4 provinces, or just 1 or 2 provinces are your target?
Well, we have a nationwide focus, but we tend to focus where the populations are greatest, like in Punjab and Sindh.
The 2 provinces are your main
also
focus?
Fateh and Balochistan.
Balochistan is also very...
We tend to focus on Balochistan on road construction.
Road construction?
Yeah, we funded a $63 million, 110-kilometer road that allows Pakistanis to export products to their northern neighbors through Afghanistan and then Central Asia.
And that you have done in Balochistan and KPK probably?
Yes, we also built roads in Fateh and KP, but 1,200 kilometers of roads, and then helped expand irrigation to about 500,000 acres. Also in Fateh KP, we provide scholarships. So a number of students there, about 7,000, were able to get scholarships to local institutions.
Right. We'll take another short break and then we'll continue this discussion. नाज़रीन, एक और मुख्तसर ब्रेक लेते हैं. ब्रेक से वापसी के बाद हम फिर गुफ्तगू का सिलसिला जारी रखेंगे. US एड के डायरेक्टर हमें बता रहे हैं कि वो किन किन शोबों में किस तरह पाकिस्तान की मदद कर रहे हैं. तालीम के शोबे में, सेहत के शोबे में, इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर. पाकिस्तान में USAID के डायरेक्टर जेरी पी बिसॉन से, और वो हाल ही में पाकिस्तान में आए हैं और वो अपने तजुर्बात से पाकिस्तान को मुस्तफ़ीद करना चाहते हैं. US एड का एक बड़ा प्रोग्राम पाकिस्तान में चल रहा है गुज़श्ता 70 साल से, और वो एक कंट्रीब्यूशन या एक किरदार अदा कर रहे हैं पाकिस्तान की तरक्की में मुख्तलिफ़ शोबों में. इस पे हमारी बातचीत हो रही है. नाउ coming to other issues like education, health, water management, agriculture, what else you have in your mind to do for Pakistanis?
Well, let me mention economic growth, because this is what we're all about. We want to improve the lives of people in developing countries. USAID's mission worldwide is to reduce poverty. And we want to do that through broad-based, inclusive economic growth. So in Pakistan, we're looking at how do we promote the enabling environment to encourage private sector investment. We've been focusing on boosting agricultural output, building roads to expand trade, helping entrepreneurs grow their businesses, including women entrepreneurs. We have one program where we allocated $60 million through 4 commercial banks. And these banks now re-lend that money to micro, small, and medium enterprises. And to date, we've lent about $30 million. And this is important because oftentimes these are the enterprises that actually create jobs.
Right, but the money that you lend to these people, enterprises, is it being spent in a positive, constructive way, or the impact is good? I mean, it's reducing the poverty, or do you think that it is some portion of it is going waste?
No, in fact, what's interesting about the small and medium enterprise, those loans historically and worldwide have very high repayment rates. The banks that do the loan, they have to look at each business plan. They have to decide, is this business plan viable? And it could be a small store, it could be a manufacturing of goods, and then they invest in that, and they oftentimes provide support to help them with their accounting practices, their marketing practices, their quality control, and they want to ensure these small businesses are successful.
Right. You said that you are also focusing on women enterprises,
yes,
entrepreneurs. So what kind of program you have designed for the women entrepreneurs and business women to come up with their investment and make contribution towards the economic growth?
Well, gender equity is a key part of our portfolio across all of our sectors. And I was fortunate today that I was able to participate in an event under called the Gender Equity Program, which is a 7-year, $38 million program. And they've been helping over 13 million women across Pakistan with understanding both their legal rights so that they can actually access funding, so they can actually get services such as loans for funding for their projects.
You mentioned the democratic strengthening of Pakistan. I mean, the strengthening of democratic system in Pakistan. Is that a part of the USAID or it's not?
Well, we have a program on governance, but it's focused on the civil society engagement and partnership with the government.
Some people in Pakistan, some circles here in Pakistan, they have been looking at USAID activities with suspicion. They were thinking in terms of something which is, which is being done in US own interest. It is US strategic interest to give aid to Pakistan and to do all these things. So there has been misgivings, and I remember that for a while the US aid activities were wound up in Pakistan. They were finished, and they were restarted.
Yes. So clearly, when we have our programs, the USAID funding is for U.S. national interests. I mean, we're doing this because we want to have prosperous, stable partners around the world. We want to have economic trade. So we want to support countries, partners, allies like Pakistan to grow and be prosperous, more prosperous, so you can buy U.S. products, so you can sell to the U.S. It's in our interest to have a more stable and prosperous Pakistan. And in terms of some of the concerns that, we've invested in activities that really help Pakistan on their long-term development. These are the roads, building roads. This is the power supply, the power system, the health of its people, the literacy for the people. These are long-term investments in the Pakistani people. And again, it's part of our partnership. We've been partners for 70 years. We plan to be partners for many, many decades to come. So we want to have a prosperous and stable Pakistan.
So after such a long experience of doing this development work in Pakistan, contributing in the economic growth of Pakistan, have you been able to re-evaluate or revisit this whole exercise, and for a while you have thought that no, we need to change this design, or we need to do something else and we need to change the course of action?
That's a very good question. We practice what we call adaptive management, where we monitor our programs, we assess what's working well and not working well, and we adapt the programs. We've seen significant changes in how we program our funding. For example, right now, almost half is with the government of Pakistan. We call government to government. We're seeing much more ownership by Pakistani organizations. I just was at an event where in the past, the Pakistani organization was a subcontractor. Now they are the prime, and then the U.S. contractor, U.S. grantee, is a sub to them. So you're seeing a maturation of the partnership where Pakistani organizations, by and large, are the majority of the employees on our USA programs are Pakistani nationals.
Pakistan and US have had diplomatic relations for the last 70 years. Yes. So this is the 70th year of our diplomatic relations. Yes. Would you like to say something on this occasion or give a message to the people of Pakistan?
Thank you. I'm thrilled to be here at this time to celebrate the 70th year anniversary of Pakistan independence. And I would like to wish everyone Jazni Azadi Mubarak. And I would like to read a message, if I may, dated August 14, 1947, from President Truman. And he wrote this message to Muhammad Ali Jinnah,
the founder of Pakistan.
Founder of Pakistan. Yeah. And basically what he said was, he congratulated Pakistan on its emergence among the family of nations, and he pledged firm friendship and goodwill, saying, the American people anticipate a long history of close and cordial relations with your country. We rejoice with you in the prospect for rapid progress toward the advancement of the welfare of the people of Pakistan. Shukriya.
Thank you. नाज़रीन, आज इस प्रोग्राम में आपने USAID के डायरेक्टर मोहतरम जेरी पी बिस्सॉन की गुफ्तगू सुनी। उन्होंने हमें तफसील से बताया कि USAID पाकिस्तान में किस तरह की सरगर्मियों में मसरूफ़ है, वो किस तरह पाकिस्तान में माशी तरक्की के लिए काम कर रहे हैं, तालीम के शोबे में काम कर रहे हैं, सेहत के शोबे में लोगों की सेहत को बेहतर बनाने के लिए क्या कुछ कर रहे हैं, और उन्होंने एक पूरी तफसीली खाका हमें आज इस प्रोग्राम में दिया है। और आखिर में उन्होंने अमेरिका के सदर का आज से 70 साल पहले पाकिस्तान की आज़ादी के वक्त जो पैगाम उन्होंने दिया था एक नई पाकिस्तानी मुमलिकत के लोगों के नाम, वो भी उन्होंने पढ़ के सुनाया। इसी के साथ हमारा ये प्रोग्राम ख़त्म होता है। जावेद सिद्दीक को इजाज़त दीजिए। खुदा हाफिज़। Thank you very much. It has been a pleasure to talk to you.
It was my pleasure. Honored to meet with you.
Thank you very
so
much.
much.
Thank you so much.